Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by Infected Rain titled Time. So between this and Ecdysis, this album had lost two members because they just didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know exactly the reasoning, but the bassist and guitarist had left, and they did get Alice Lane, a new addition to the band, I think, as the bassist. The band is now one person shorter because of it, and it's interesting to see where they go from here. This album definitely isn't an example of, just kind of continuing on where they left off, because there's a huge change that's honestly marked a new era for the band, and Time is definitely just showing you this with how different everything is. Instead of just the usual heavy sounding screams and shrieks you get from Lena Scissorhands, you get a lot more of the melodic side as well to it. There's a lot more melodic breakdowns, there's just a lot more choruses that just have a softer presence to it. Even if there's quite a bit of screaming, it's definitely not as much as it normally would be. And not to mention, the band's also been blending in new metal as well as sort of EDM synth sort of sounds, so it's interesting to see that they've got a whole new palette to try and play with. However, I don't think they necessarily use that to their advantage, having this whole restart, fresh new approach to the sound, because honestly I feel like the variety on this record is just a little bit lacking. When it comes to these new ideas, you're just kind of seeing them and you're just hearing them, and you're like, oh, okay, that happened, I guess. There's not really anything that just compels you to feel like this is a whole new fantastic era to look out for. I feel like the singles have done a good job, because I quite like the first half of this record. I feel like definitely some of the more stronger tracks, but once you reach Pandemonium, I feel like this is kind of where the weaker segments approach. Enmity is just honestly quite a meh track. It doesn't really push much, and then you get tracks like PAURA or PAURA, which the first 2 minutes of this one is just, it's building up to something, and it just doesn't really necessarily go anywhere that interesting for me. And yeah, unpredictable. This one's just alright. There's a few moments I like in it, but as a whole I feel like it's losing its consistency with trying these ideas out. The singles were great. I feel like since they had a lot of the single stuff on the first half, it just kind of flowed a lot better. Than second half is just full of surprises, but not ones that I'd be honestly happy to see. Game of Blame, which is one I did kind of like, has a bit more of the electronic presence to it, and I do think it works well here, but as a whole it just, again, nothing really stood out on this record as much as I thought it would. I was honestly digging the vibe, but the second half just doesn't hold up as well as the first. I think it just doesn't really feel that there's much variety in this new sound they're exploring. There's some great ideas, and I think Lena Scissorhands has still got a badass voice, and I think even the melodic parts isn't necessarily bad. I just feel like there's nothing unique to this record, or at least in the discography, it just doesn't really feel unique in a good way. It just kind of feels it stands up because it's just different from everything else, and it doesn't really push the boundaries for all these brand new ideas. They're trying to progress to something different, and I think it can work, but to me I just don't think this was it. This definitely has more of an experimental thing, and I can see that it's fine, I guess. Like I said, there's still some good tracks. I think Lighthouse is kick-ass. I think Dying Light is a top tier track from this record, and I just honestly think the first half is just pretty strong. It's just, it kind of falls apart towards the later half, but again, that's just my opinion on it. I feel like the genre blending has been a problem which a lot of bands have been doing more, just to try and feel like they can stand out from amongst other bands, and again, it works here, but it's not always consistent. But I kind of all I really have to say for it before I ramble on and more about it. I feel like there is, again, potential, and Infected Rain haven't delivered a bad record, but I would probably say this is not a strong one either. I'm going to put this in the alright albums bit, which normally is a 2.5 out of 5. It's kind of in the middle for me. I mean, I like one half, I'm not as big on the second half. it kind of evens it around. So that's my review. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.